I'm Bonifilio, Inner Realms, Outer Journeys. Guess who we have back today?
Hi, Karen.
Hi, I'm so excited you're back. And I love the topic that we're going to talk about today. But for those of you that don't know Jennifer, let me tell you a little bit about her. Okay, Jennifer Rose serves as an international spiritual evidential medium, trance healer and channel, mentor, public speaker, transformation guide, writer. Sorry, I know how to read.
That's okay.
I really do. Writer, poet, and humanitarian. In addition to her one-on-one work with her clients, she demonstrates mediumship for small groups and large audiences, spiritualistic churches, and for charitable causes, spreading the awareness that love and life are eternal. She is known for her accuracy, love, and compassion, and connecting with spirit. I want to tell you a little bit more. I know she's got it. She's got it going on. She's also the host of Embracing Infinity on the Sacred Spiral Network, and exploration of love, higher consciousness, and living life to its highest potential. Isn't that cool? With a passion for writing and creative expression, Jennifer is a regular contributor to Edify Your Soul magazine. She has also been featured in the LA Times and been guest on numerous podcasts. So I feel very honored that she's on my podcast too. Boy, you've done a lot in your short little life, young lady.
I have. I don't know how that happened, but I somehow I had I guess a little catching up to do. So I squeezed a whole lot into a short amount of time, and I kind of put myself through what I call spiritual boot camp. So when I first started to do this work and develop, I was fully immersed into it. Yeah, I went kind of full throttle, a lot of classes, a lot of everything.
Well, I mean,
So I did
seriously,
it.
that is an impressive resume. So it's
Thank
really
you.
cool.
Thank you.
Well, she's going to talk to us today about trance healing. So, what in the heck is that?
So, okay, let's do it. Let's go into trance healing too. So we've all heard of healing, and we've probably all heard of energy healing as well too. So I
Yeah.
can kind of break things down. The very short of it is trance healing is a form of healing. It's a form of mediumship where we're working directly with the spirit. To connect with spirit, to be a conduit or a channel of healing for whoever is the receiver as well. So if we want to broaden what healing is, we're trying to improve or change or cure somebody's experience on multiple levels. So it could be the spiritual level, a physical level, a mental or emotional level. And we don't always know what's needed, but that's why it's up to the spirit to give the person whatever it is they actually need versus what they think they may want and so, but healing can come in all forms, like just us having this podcast here today is a form of healing because it's going to help somebody today. People who are funny are healers, like comedians are healers because they make people laugh. People who are just very loving, nurturing, and caring for other people and a good listener are giving healing too. So it shows up in a lot of different ways we may not fully expect. It's all healing, right? And then if we break it down a little bit more, we know that doctors are healers and nurses are healers and veterinarians are healers as well. Now, when we get into the sort of the spiritual context and the mediumistic context, then we talk about healing in which most people are probably familiar with here is like energy healing, where we're working with kind of like the subtle energy of a person, like their auric field and their chakras, and so to speak too. And this is where we can get into, like acupuncture, because that's also affecting the energy, right? And I forgot to say like massage, acupressure, all of these are different kinds of healings. When we get into energy healing, a lot of people are familiar with Reiki, and there's several other modalities that are meant to affect the energy of a person to hopefully also affect what they are going on physically or mentally or emotionally or spiritually, which is probably a combination of all of those anyways too. So that's just kind of breaking healing down, because it can get a little confusing for people when they see all these different kinds out there. So it's kind of nice when we can sort of start broad and then go a little bit more narrow with that too.
You know,
With Yes.
I like that you point out that
Yeah,
someone that is nurturing or someone that can make you laugh, that's a form of healing too. And
it
I'm
is.
thinking, yeah, that really is.
It really,
Yeah.
really is. So a
Yeah.
lot of people don't realize that they're healing when they are, right? And so
Hmm.
you could be a manicurist, right? And you're helping somebody feel better and talking to them and massaging their hands, and you don't realize like you're giving them healing. So it really shows up in so many different ways. Your hairdresser is probably a healer, right? And
Oh,
so
I'm
many different.
thinking I'm being silly in my head. I'm going. I think I should go sit at the bar. Maybe the maybe the bartender. I was
Well,
being
yeah,
silly.
they listen. Well, yeah, because they can be listeners, right? I'm sure
Yeah.
they hear all
Hmm.
kinds of stories too. So, and
Yeah.
they have to hold space.
Hmm.
Counselors, therapists, life coaches, they're all healers. And a lot of times with all of these
Wow.
different areas that we've mentioned, spirit is working with them more
Mm.
than not, like, so I've seen a lot of people who are counselors and therapists, and they start to realize that they're very intuitive because spirit's been helping them and working with them and developing them the whole time. They have to be able to do that kind of work. They have to know intuitively how to treat a person, and kind of like what needs to be said and what questions to ask, because every individual is going to be different, right?
Yeah.
So
Interesting. Hmm.
yeah.
But your modality involves working with the spirit, not just the energy field.
Right. So I started out learning Reiki. I did all of the levels of Reiki up until like the master teacher level two. And I learned a bunch of symbols as well. And that was really great for me because it gave me a foundation to work with. It helped me to build confidence in myself because
Mm.
when you have like a structure and like we're doing the symbols and setting intentions and these kinds of things. In the beginning, it's hard to believe in yourself that you're actually part of it, that it's working, and that that you've got this. So it takes time to build confidence in yourself, as with mediumship. And then I moved into trance mediumship as well, to do channeling of philosophy messages, connecting with spirit to give messages. So I do that. And then, so that's a form of mediumship. And then trance healing is a form of trance mediumship. So there's another little breakdown. What I loved about trance healing when I first started doing it is I was also very aware that it would help my mediumship. So, because when you're working in a trance healing capacity, you're just this passive channel. There's nothing you have to do except allow spirit to come in and blend with you. So their energy and your
Mhm.
energy, or their awareness and your awareness is kind of coming together. They're not in your body or anything like that, but you feel a shift. You feel like you're part of them and they're part of you. And it's a very magical experience to go through, to connect with spirit in that very blendy, connected kind of way too. And you don't have to do any special words or anything like that. You just have to set the intention to allow spirit to work
Spirit.
through you as a channel. And for me, I was like, what? All I have to do is just stand here and let them do everything. And it was like, yeah, it was easy. It was easy for me. And I like that because I'm sure if there's some mediums who are watching this who are developing, they know what it's like in the beginning. Because you have to learn, it's like learning how to ride a bike. You have to learn how to find a balance, right? With
Yes.
mediumship, you have to learn not to go looking for the information and let the information come to you and through you. Trance healing is really great for that. It helps you develop that passive flow, and it builds the open heart, and it builds the compassion and the empathy. And you get to experience that magical connection with spirit, because when they're close to you and blending with your awareness like that too, you feel their love, and you feel very high frequency when you're doing that. It's beautiful.
Gosh, Jennifer, this is making so much sense. For
Yeah.
me, it's making so much sense because we had talked about someone that she's going to have on her channel and it's Nico. And he came on my channel and he did do trance meditation. And I was overwhelmed with all the love and everything. And I was trying to cry and not make noise, but spirit knew I was making noise. I was
Yeah,
crying. But it was so, oh God, it felt so good. It just
it
did.
does. It's very magical
That's why I want
experience.
to do it. Oh my
You
gosh.
should, you should.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm taking
Yeah.
classes starting
Yeah.
August. I
Yeah.
can't do it. Yeah.
And what's nice about the healing is you're not having to worry about the speaking too, because that's another whole load of pressure of people worrying about, is it me? Should I say it? Should I not say it? Like that takes a lot
Yeah.
of trust to learn how to do
Yeah.
in trance speaking. But with trance
Mhm.
healing, it's just like letting yourself go and letting them come and connect with you, and being okay with that kind of energetic merging that you're experiencing. But it's beautiful. And what they can do, Karen, is if is they can control your hands to move how they want it to move, and it can be an absolute beautiful. So if you were to see me demonstrating trance healing, you could see them kind of moving my hands over, you know, just so slowly. I can feel the tingling, or I can feel like there's air lifting it like too, and they would move it
Really?
around, sometimes even a little bit of a dance too, just to show you like the eloquence and the elegance and the gracefulness of spirit, of how sometimes they could dance your hands around too.
Wow.
It's magical. And when you first experience that and you feel spirit like lifting it, you're like, oh my God, oh my, like the tears are flowing. And
I
they would,
know.
in it, if you were in person with somebody like on a table, and you had your hands over them like this, they may say like, no, we need you to move your hands over, and they would move it for you. And most of the times our
Wow.
eyes are going to be closed when we're trance healing, and they can get your hands literally within a quarter, an eighth of an inch of touching that person, just to show you how intelligent they are. And you'd be like, am I going to
Wow.
touch that person? And then you're looking and you're like, it's just like that close. How do they do that?
Oh
Because they're
gosh.
intelligent. Yeah.
So that's what you do, Jennifer, that
Yeah.
trance healing.
I do that.
Okay.
That's my favorite. I offer a group healing meditation every 2 weeks. I alternate mornings and evenings, and it's free. And we sit in the power. And then I do trance healing, which really the whole hour is trance healing, but there's a condensed part of it in the middle. And then I do a channeled message afterwards. So people get kind of a 3-in-1, all in one. And it's a very loving experience. So that way everybody has an opportunity to receive healing, or a message, even if they don't want to like sign up for a whole session or anything like that.
So question for you. When is the
Yeah.
next one?
I believe it's next, not this Thursday, but next Thursday, if I have that right.
Are we talking the 26th?
Hmm.
Gosh
Yes.
darn it. Well, I want to
That's,
get you up before that so people can tune into that.
oh, okay. Yeah. So that one's going to be in the morning at 10 a.m. Pacific, but I do them every 2 weeks. So there's always another opportunity if you can't make it.
Okay. And then
Yeah.
people can book a session with you, Jennifer, right, for
Yeah,
that?
yeah. People can
Okay.
book sessions as well too, and we offer healing too at my Sunday services, which we spoke about before.
Mhm.
And we always do a little mini like healing for the whole group. That's very common in a spiritualist service, to do spiritual healing. So we also call it spiritual healing. That may be a term people are a little bit more comfortable with. It sounds a little softer because they don't know what trance means, but we are moving
Yeah.
into an altered state. But yeah, so at the Sunday services, there's always a group healing, and those of us who are serving, we just kind of combine our channels together, and people really appreciate it. They say they feel it, they feel something happening too.
And I'm
But
glad I was able to experience that with you too.
yeah, I'm so happy you
Yeah.
made it, and you got a message too.
And you know what? I figured that Aiden, who was talking to me, he
Hmm.
didn't want me to talk. So I just was confirming yes and no. Because,
Yeah.
yeah, so that was really cool. And, it was really neat. My cat came through, one of my cats that I had so long
Hmm.
ago, and that was really comforting. Also, when she does these Sunday services, she donates the money that is made to, I'm not sure where it goes, but it's donation based. And
Yeah, yeah. So
they
I
don't,
always don't. Yeah, I always
yeah.
donate a portion of it to a charity, and it's usually
Mhm.
like something for animals or something like that. So it's I I'm very particular about picking ones that have a very high rating of safety. I don't do anything political or anything like that. So there's
No,
no
no, no, no,
none
no,
of
no.
that. So yeah. And but it's fun at the end of the year to kind of last year I did post with a long list of all of the different ones, and it felt so good. It
Good.
felt so good. Yeah, like look what we did all together, because
Exactly.
it was
Yeah.
all together. It was a collaboration of spirit and all of us who serve and all of the people who come. And even if
Mhm,
people aren't making a donation, like that's okay. They're coming with their energy and they're being part of the group and making the
mhm.
group possible too. So we find a way to like keep giving, and that's very much in the spirit of spiritualism, whether you're spiritual or not. But it's part of the roots of
Mhm.
spiritualism is to do good work, to do humanitarian efforts. And so
Yes.
that's why I like, okay, we're doing our part. We're doing our part with a smile.
Mhm. And it's
Yeah.
lovely what you've created in your life in the last few
Thank you.
years.
Thank
Really.
you.
Okay. Well, tell us more about the spiritual trance healing, because that's kind of
Okay.
what we're talking about.
Right.
And
Right.
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good.
You,
You're good.
okay. You said we might be able to do a little trance healing. You didn't know
Yeah,
how it was going to work,
I could
though.
demonstrate. Well, we can see how the timing goes, but yeah, I can demonstrate it for you
Okay.
too. And even if people are watching it post, because we're recording this, so even if people are watching it after, they can still feel it because it gets like imprinted into the video. So they could go back and even watch it again and again if they wanted to.
Oh, and they would still get that healing?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh,
Isn't it cool?
yeah, that's cool. I'm so glad I chose
I
this.
know. Um, so what we
Mm,
do is we learn to move into a very passive, altered state. So somebody who's in a very deep trance, their whole brain scan will turn a different color into, just very passive. So you're pretty much not part of it at all. We may have it can be a little different with trance, because with somebody who's speaking, they may need to subdue the mind more than they would the healer who's doing a trance healing too. Whereas they really with the trance healing, they may not need to like make your mind go away just as much, but you'll definitely get very relaxed and kind of removed from it too. They may just be more interested in moving your hands, and that's what they've got the most control over. Whereas with trance speaking, they're trying to subdue your whole awareness as much as possible. And sometimes the two are combined, so people can be speaking and
oh,
healing at the same time as well. When I do my meditations, I have to make a little switch. So I just kind of I shift gears just a little bit. So there is a little bit of a lift off and a little bit of coming back in again too. So I can move because I'm working with a group. And but it's super magical. It's super magical. So and the more you practice getting into that, we have to sit in the power, and that really helps us to practice and learn how to attune to spirit. It helps us
sit
to
in
learn
the
how to quiet the mind. We have to focus our awareness and focus our energy. In the beginning, that's very hard for people. They either fall asleep, they can't stop thinking. Totally normal. Just keep practicing, just keep practicing,
Mm,
just keep practicing. The beautiful thing about trance, though, is that with mediumship, mental mediumship, where we're connecting with loved ones and we're talking a lot, and we have to kind of go back and forth. We have to stay very kind of like active in the process. It's a different
yes.
mechanism. But with trance, the trance comes to you. So it's you do have to learn how to become more passive. You do have to learn to calm the mind, but the trance comes to you and it subdues you for you. So you don't have to kind of like work at it in the same kind of way that we have to develop our mental mediumship. So the energy will shift and become kind of like this velvety weighted blanket kind of feel. Like the power will get stronger, and then you just kind of keep relaxing into it, but it makes you really sleepy. So sometimes when people come to group events, they were like, why am I falling asleep, or why do I feel like I want to close my eyes when I'm watching this demonstration or at the spirit? It's because the power is pretty strong, and they're getting kind of like altered from it too, and probably getting some healing, because spirit sometimes can use group efforts to give people healing, and people might not even know, but that's what their higher self wants for them. So
Wow.
spirit's just doing it on their own because it's needed for that person too. But for the most part, we always entrust the intelligence of the spirit. They know where everything should go, who it needs to go to. So you don't have to worry about that too. You leave it up to the spirit for the highest and greatest good of everybody involved. And so if you say wanted to send healing to a certain person, but their higher self was like, no, that's not appropriate for this person, the spirit will already know that and they'll give it to somebody else
Oh,
who does need it.
oh.
So we always trust the intelligence of the spirit world. Um, what's really cool, Karen, is that we can work with specific helpers or guides from spirit world that can come and be our like our healing guide or our control, whatever you want to call it. And
Hmm.
some of them have been doctors here in the physical world before they went to spirit, and so they'll continue working like as a spirit doctor, but from spirit world, and they'll find somebody here to work with too. And
Really?
so, yeah.
Wow,
it's super
Jennifer.
it's super cool, and some of them have been documented. So like I don't think I'm going to remember all of the names off the top of my head, but there was a healer named George Chapman. I think I got the right one. And the spirit doctor that was working through him was an ophthalmologist, and also did other kinds of medical work too. And he became the spirit doctor for George Chapman. And then George Chapman had a son. And then his spirit doctor had a son too, who was also in spirit. So it was a father son working with a father son.
Oh,
Um, but what
wow.
was so unique about this is that the doctor who was the ophthalmologist in spirit,
Mhm.
people could validate and verify that it was him because multiple people who knew that doctor, they came and watched George Chapman go into trance and the healer work through him. And his hand movement was exactly the same because there was something unique about his, like his left hand and the way it moved, the way he was speaking, everything was, and they're like, that's him, that's him, that's him.
Wow.
And so that's kind of cool because it was a very verifiable um, um, process that happened. Not a lot of times we don't always know who our healing helper is, or we don't know if they've been in the physical or not. We may get a first name or something like that. But in this case, that was kind of magical. And some of the magical things that I like to say miraculous or magical things that have happened is, people have gotten cured. People have had spontaneous cures. There's even one story of a man who had a diseased bone and the spirit replaced it with like a bone made of ectoplasm. Like, so there's been over the
Wow.
many decades some unexplainable phenomena
Yeah.
that have happened for people.
Miracles.
Yeah,
Miracle.
miracles, lots of them too. So it does happen. It does really happen.
So, what happens to the people in the audience that can't get out of their mind, can't get past their thoughts? Because the thoughts create pretty much everything that's going on with you and
Hmm.
your experiences. And they know that their thoughts are creating that disease, but they can't seem to let that go. I just am asking because I have a friend who knows that she's creating the conditions in her body, but she continues to create them. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So
Is it
I'm
confusing?
yeah, I know it totally makes sense. And so the mental, the emotional, the physical, and the spiritual are all connected. They overlap.
Okay.
And so if we were looking at a situation, we could find a spiritual explanation, a physical explanation, probably a mental and emotional explanation too that's happening.
Mhm.
And they really all working as a unit. So sometimes we have to then approach healing in a multidimensional facet, like covering it from all different areas. So it may not be enough just to go to an energy healer or just to go to a doctor. We may have to also be able to do the whole mind, body, spirit approach, which is what a lot of
Okay.
cancer victims would do, right? Too. Now,
Mhm.
not all thoughts come into manifestation as well. Sometimes thoughts are just thoughts. And I want people to be careful not to be afraid of their thoughts because that's what can happen with law of attraction. People can get afraid of their thoughts and then they're just spiraling because now they're going into resisting. No, don't think that, don't think that, don't think that. And they get
Yeah.
into this battle, this war in their mind. And that's not healthy either. That's very stressful to go through too.
Mhm.
So not all thoughts manifest. Um, But we also, what we do need to understand is why sometimes do all the positive thinking not always work as we think. Like we've set our intentions, we've done our affirmations. Why is it not
Yeah,
working?
why is it not
So
working? Yeah.
that's where we have to kind of go into more of the subconscious or the unconscious level of our mind and see what kind of thought patterns are hiding in the recesses, and what parts of us, because we're very multidimensional, we have many parts to our personality, are kind of like driving the bus behind the scenes, and helping to create a certain kind of reality for us too, from a holographic kind of
Mhm.
point of view, but also maybe driving our impulses to say not eat as well as we know we should, or not exercise as well as we should, and things like that, where we're
Mhm.
actually kind of sabotaging. So that's a whole nother level. But like, not everybody's going to get cured from any kind of healing out there. Like, not everybody's going to get it. And I highly recommend, and I always say it's complementary to other things. It's a complementary. I can't guarantee it's going to cure anything. All I can
Right.
do is say
Mhm.
I will try this. I will try this, and we're in a partnership together. But the intention that the person is coming in with is helpful. They're intending to receive, so they are being proactive at trying to
Yes.
make some kind of
Mhm.
change or improvement. Right.
Mhm.
What I don't want to see is, if somebody say, and I've said this many times publicly, if somebody is deficient in vitamin D, which is making them depressed and have a very low mood and need sleep a lot, I don't want them to pay hundreds and thousands of dollars on energy healing when they can go get themselves a little bottle of vitamin D3, and over, after about a month or two, start feeling better too. So
Better. Mhm.
I really recommend doing things in a comprehensive approach.
Yes.
It makes
Uh-huh.
sense.
Mhm.
It,
Multifaceted.
yeah,
Yes.
it makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense. But in your friend's case too, what might be helpful then would be what we would call, going to therapy, going to counseling, going to a life coach, or doing shadow work. In spiritual land, we do a lot of shadow work. So we're doing a lot of going into our minds, meeting the different parts of us, learning a lot of acceptance and self-love, and then bringing all of those parts back to that have been
Oh
kind of
gosh.
disassociated or kind of disowned, and they're just kind of
Mhm.
hiding back there, in the mental space, waiting to be seen and loved, and come in. So once the personality of the conscious mind starts to, what I want to say is, submit a little bit to the unconscious mind in a very respectful way, and say, I'm realizing I'm not the only one here in control of anything. What is this other part of it? What is my soul trying
Mhm.
to tell me? What is my higher self trying to do? And so this is where you
Mhm.
have to do the inner work. And with the inner work comes tremendous healing to change your
Yes.
reality. Once you
Mhm.
start really fully loving and accepting yourself, you really start to change your reality. And that's where the magic is. But it's not easy work, and it doesn't happen overnight. We've developed patterns over our whole
Over
lifetime.
time. Yep.
But
Mhm.
most people, Karen, are walking around thinking they're not good enough or not worthy of love, and we wonder why people
Yes.
behave the way they do.
Mhm.
And so when we can work on that, we can change a lot of things, and that will change our frequency and our cells. Our brains have to learn to rewire things over time too, so that they're
That's true.
producing different chemicals and things like that. But if we do approach it in a multifaceted way, we can get there a little bit faster too. So
Mhm.
that's why I take all my vitamins, I do my self-care, I exercise, I do all this stuff to
Mhm.
help the rest
Mhm.
of me
Okay.
too.
Yeah. And that self-love, that's, I
A
think,
lot of
pretty
that.
much the key. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I do it every day. I practice that every day.
Yeah, because think of what we grew up with, all the things on TV and the perfect woman and the perfect man and the perfect family and all this. And that was
Yeah.
all a facade. I mean, it is. That's
Yeah.
just for entertainment for us.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then we start comparing ourselves and we can't be that. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, this is
Yeah.
really eye opening,
I know,
Jennifer.
right?
It
Yeah,
really
I know
is.
we got off topic a little bit, but it's
We
important
did.
but it's important. So that's what needed to be spoken
Yeah.
about here today. Self-love is huge,
Yep.
huge, 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 huge.
Mhm.
And I think if we make a decision, we're going to go through a lot of stuff in life, but there may be a point where you come to an awareness where you're like seeing what's transpiring in front of you with your life, and you're like, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening, this is
Mhm.
a roller coaster. And then you're kind of like, something's got to give, something's got to change, right?
Mhm.
And then you have to
Yeah.
kind of make a decision for your will. Like, this is where you actually have will to say, you know what? I want more than this. I want to
Yeah.
feel happy. I want to feel
Yeah.
joy. I want to make
Mhm.
like the most of this life. And sometimes it is when we, either have a near death experience or have a, significant crisis, that's what actually makes us want to live too. So
Yeah. Sorry, you're
it,
yeah. You,
I know we might wish it wouldn't be that way, but that's
yeah.
how it is. Sometimes we
Yeah.
need to have the hard things happen to help us work towards the good things, and this is the little cycles that we go
Oh,
in.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Wow. Is there anything? I
I
know this
know.
conversation is going where it's supposed to go, Jennifer. I
Right?
know. I know that.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It's. Is there anything more about trance that you want to tell me? I know we had some questions, but you kind of covered a lot of it. But you're the
Yeah,
expert.
yeah. Well, what I would like to
Mhm.
talk about is love, and I would like to talk about the healing. I want to, because I want anybody who's wanting to receive healing to realize that they are the ones who are doing the healing. So it's a partnership from the healer, the spirit, and the person who's receiving. But ultimately, the person who's receiving, them and their higher self and their soul, is receiving this gift and deciding what's to be done with it and what kind of transformation is going to occur. Now, sometimes that can make the healer go, well, what am I even here for? Am I special? Do I matter? Yeah, you're a holy channel, and it's very holy work. I don't mean that in the religious sense. In the spiritual sense, it's very
Yes.
holy work to do healing, probably the highest of all of the different kinds of spiritual work we could do. But Spirit World has selected you, and you have made the efforts to go through the development to be this um, channel for spirit and to develop yourself along the way and to help another person, to help another human being who needs help, right? But ultimately, that's the person who is doing the healing, is the person who's receiving. And I want
Hmm.
to say that because it's very empowering for the person to
Hmm.
know, because we're not giving our power away to other people to fix us, and we're not fixing anything. We're in a partnership of transformation together. And in this transformation, we're on this journey to know ourselves better, the know thyself journey. That is the ultimate purpose of all of this, is not just to change something or to fix something, but it's part of our journey together. We're all evolving together. So it's a journey of evolution. So healing is so much more than just changing something, fixing something. As a healer, the more we can develop ourselves and develop love, compassion, and empathy,
Empathy.
right? Um, the better a channel connection we're going to be for that person and be able to hold space, because they may need us to talk to them a little bit. They may need us to hold space for them and to see that they're going through something very traumatic or difficult. They may have a lot of emotions come out while they're receiving healing. We need to know what to do and how to be a loving force for them too. But we can see them in love. We are not in our space of like, I'm so powerful, I'm helping to fix that person. We're not doing that. We're like, we're doing an act of love, and we're seeing them as
Yes.
whole. We're
Yeah.
seeing them as whole already, and eventually they will make the shifts to see themselves as whole too, and we're just part
Hmm.
of that process. So it's so much more than just giving you energy, changing something. It's like it's a love, an act of love.
Gosh. No, this is really eye opening. It's really eye opening. I'm kind of blown away, quite frankly. I really am. Kind of at a
Me
loss
too.
of words.
I know.
I am.
I always get
Um,
amazed by what spirit can do. I don't get surprised very often. Okay, yeah, they did it again. But I always get amazed, like, whoa, they did it. Like, wow.
well, it
But
was
we're spirit
odd.
too.
Yeah, yeah. And I like that you're being the conduit to help that person,
Yeah,
and the person's really doing the healing to themselves.
right.
So powerful. Um, I decided I wanted to look into trance healing because of what I experienced with Nico, because it felt, oh my God, I felt so connected with spirit and just immersed in love.
Yeah.
So I don't know if spirit chose me or if I chose to do that. So we'll find out.
Both. It's both.
Both. Yeah. 'Cause Nico was led to me. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
he
Nico
he
was
is
led to
a beautiful soul for sure. I'm just getting to know him a little bit, but I've seen him work too, and he's got a
me.
beautiful book that's coming out. So, yeah, really great medium.
Yeah. I just got his book. So I haven't cracked it open yet, but I got his book. Um, it's, let's see, how long would, if we did a little trance session, would that take?
Probably 5 or 10 minutes.
Okay, because we're on 35 minutes now. I like to keep us around 40 minutes.
Yeah,
What do
I
you?
can. It's up to you. We can do this another time, or I can just ask them to. Yeah, they know what to do. It's spirit world. They can do it short.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay.
Because you've got all these people that are listening and they're going to go, Karen, do it, do it, do it.
Okay.
Jennifer, let Jennifer do it.
Okay. So, what we're looking for with trance, whether it's trance speaking or trance healing, is we're hoping to uh, feel a little shift in the atmosphere. So hopefully you'll be able to validate feeling a little shift in the atmosphere too. If I were speaking, we would want what's coming out to sound intelligent as well. And then
Yeah.
so we're looking for that sense of healing and upliftment, intelligence, and feeling the atmosphere change. And that's the power itself too. So I will just set an intention for the highest and good of anybody who's receiving today, or whenever they're watching it. And it's going to be what they need, not necessarily what they want, but it never hurts to ask. It's always good to ask because that's empowering for the person, is to ask for what they're wanting to. And so I don't know if they're going to move my hands in this short amount of time, but I will just allow them to do everything else. Does that sound like the plan? I'm going to hand it over to them.
Yes. Jennifer, I do have a question. Should the
Yes.
audience be watching or should their eyes be closed?
Um, Sometimes with trance healing, you can see an overshadowing effect. So you could see the person's facial features change a little bit. And you're like, oh my gosh, she looks like a man all of a sudden, like, how did that happen? And that's because the spirit person is blending with that person. In this
Ooh.
case, because it's a little bit of, we're doing just a little short sample, I would say you're probably going to be more comfortable just kind of closing your eyes and just immersing yourself in experience versus doing this, because then your conscious awareness is focused here instead of on just receiving and feeling the energy. Does that make sense? Because we're just doing
Okay.
a little mini sample, but that can happen. So when I demonstrate it, when I'm teaching it too, I'll demonstrate it for my students so they can see what it looks like, and they're
Okay.
like,
So
oh
we're going
wow,
to
you
watch you.
you did different. You can watch if you like to. So yeah, okay, all right. So here we go. We'll make it quick. All right, spirit, no messing around. Okay. And I'll just say, great, beautiful spirit, thank you for bringing Karen and I together. And we are handing it over to you to give of your essence of yourself in beautiful, absolute, and perfect love. We open our hearts and we come in these open hearts to receive and be channels of love for each other. And we're going to start to come back.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. That was wonderful.
Yeah.
I didn't watch. I'm going to have to go back
That's
and
like
watch.
that. They actually did open up my hands just a little, and I was like, "Oh, I can't believe they're doing that." But they did. They did open
Oh,
my
did
hands up a
they?
little. But that
Yeah.
was beautiful. They did. They kind of like, "Okay, we're all coming in."
God, it feels
Uh,
good. I'm
it
not
was
kidding.
it was nice. I know it was short, but it was very pleasant.
It was wonderful.
It's,
Um, I get certain sensations that
mhm.
I know when spirit's coming in, and bam, immediately they were here.
Yeah, it was
Just,
really quick. I got that too. It was just
oh,
like, yeah. And so,
oh gosh.
and just know like healing is love. So if you're giving somebody love, you're giving them healing. And even if you don't take a class, you can come, get together with a friend or your pet or family member and just say, "Hey, you can just hold their hand and with the intention of giving them healing." They might go, "Oh, wow, your hand's so warm." Or you could stand
Mhm.
behind them, have them sit in a chair and just stand behind with your hands over their shoulders and just try for 10 minutes. And if spirit knows there's a willingness, they're
Mhm.
going to come. It's like, if you build it, they will come. I promise. I promise. They like having a job to do from there.
And they want us open for that. They
They
want us.
do.
They want to
We're
be here to help
we're
us.
evolving. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
evolving. And so the more we're willing to kind of like, okay,
Yay.
I'm willing to try this. And healing
Mhm.
it's gentle and it's tender. And I think most people would feel comfortable starting that way, just something simple and knowing that like, oh, that's all I have to do. Okay. You can just put your hands on your dog, while you're watching TV. Oh, I'm going to give them some healing. See what
I'm petting my
happens.
doggy right now.
Exactly. You're
Yeah.
giving them healing.
Mhm.
And they come to you when like
And
if they know you're in a bad mood or you're crying or something like that, they'll come to you and they'll be like, and all you're like, "Oh, they felt me. They felt you."
mhm.
They're not
Yeah.
afraid of energy. They're like, "Oh,
Yeah,
I'll come and give you love."
yeah. Oh, Jennifer, this was beautiful. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. My
Thank you for
goodness.
having me back, Karen. I feel very blessed, and I hope we were able to help somebody learn something today or feel something today. I'm very grateful and honored to be in your presence. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. So I
Yeah.
am with you too. So thank you so much. And we'll see you again.
Okay.
Okay. Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.